Hello everyone, viewers. Close your eyes for a moment. I want you to picture hell. What do you see? I'm guessing it's a canvas painted with the most vivid shades of terror. Flames, isn't it? Leaping, writhing, endless flames. The air is thick with the smell of sulfur and burning regret. You can hear the cacophony of screams, the clanking of chains, and the malicious laughter of demons with pitchforks and cruel intention. This is the image that has been burned into our collective imagination, a masterpiece of horror crafted over centuries by epic poems, terrifying sermons, and the nightmarish art of painters like Hieronymus Bosch. It's a powerful, terrifying vision. But what if it's wrong? Not just slightly off, but fundamentally mistaken. What if the true nature of hell, the ultimate unbearable horror, isn't? What if the real torment isn't a burning sensation on the skin, but a silence so profound it screams? The unbearable silence of God. For centuries, we have been captivated by the geography of damnation. The most famous map was drawn by the poet Dante Alighieri. His Inferno gave us 9 concentric circles of suffering, each tailored with gruesome precision to a specific sin. The lustful are tossed on an eternal whirlwind, the gluttonous lie in a vile, freezing slush, and the treacherous are frozen in a lake of ice at the very bottom of the pit, chewed upon by Satan himself. This intricate, almost mathematical system of punishment has become the definitive picture of hell for much of the Western world. It's a vision of divine justice as a form of cosmic retribution. But here is the crucial thing to remember. Dante was a poet, not a prophet. His Inferno is a literary allegory, a profound exploration of sin's consequences on the human soul. But it is not a literal blueprint of the afterlife. It is a human attempt to grasp the unimaginable, to give form to a formless fear, to find a more authentic answer. We have to become archaeologists of the text. We must dig down through the layers of translation, tradition, and cultural interpretation to the original words and their ancient meanings. When we do, we find that the Bible doesn't speak of one single fiery place called hell. It speaks of several distinct concepts, each with its own unique context, which have been flattened over time into one monolithic idea. The first word we encounter in the Hebrew Old Testament is Sheol. Sheol wasn't a place of fire and demons. The best translation is simply the grave or the pit. It was a shadowy realm, a place of dust and quiet, a vast and silent darkness beneath the earth where all the dead, the righteous and the wicked alike, went. It was a place of waiting, of being forgotten, a neutral territory of slumber from which no one was thought to return. It was a Then, as history moved forward, the Hebrew scriptures were translated into Greek, the common language of the time. The word the translators chose for Sheol was Hades. For the ancient Greeks, Hades was the underworld, the realm of the god of the same name. Like Sheol, it was primarily a gloomy, subterranean kingdom for the shades of the dead. While later Greek myths would add the fields of Elysium for heroes and the pits of Tartarus for titans, the general conception of Hades was not one of universal fiery torment. It was the land of the departed, a place separate from the world of the living. So when the early apostles used the word Hades, their audience would have understood it in this context: the common realm of the dead, the sleep of death before the final judgment. And this is where things get truly fascinating. Gehenna wasn't a mythical, subterranean dimension. It was a real place you could visit. It was the Valley of Hinnom, a ravine right outside the walls of Jerusalem, and it had a dark, horrifying history. In the days of the old kings of Judah, it was a site of pagan worship where followers of the god Moloch would sacrifice their own children in fire. By Jesus, a place where refuse, animal carcasses, and the unclaimed bodies of criminals were thrown. To prevent the spread of disease, fires were kept constantly smoldering, consuming the filth, maggots and worms were ever present. It was a disgusting, smoldering, accursed place. When Jesus warned of the danger of being cast into Gehenna, where the worm doesn't, he was using the most powerful, visceral and local image of utter worthlessness and destruction he could find. To be thrown into Gehenna was to be treated like garbage, to be utterly consumed and destroyed, to have your life declared a waste. It was a metaphor for final, irreversible ruin, not necessarily for conscious, eternal torment. Finally, there is one more term, mentioned just once in the New Testament. Peter writes that God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them down to Tartarus, committing them to chains of gloomy darkness to be held until judgment. This word, borrowed directly from Greek mythology, represented the deepest abyss, a pit even lower than Hades, used as a prison for the monstrous titans who rebelled against the Olympian gods. Notice who it's for, not humans. Tartarus is a cosmic prison for fallen angels, a holding cell for spiritual forces that have defied the divine order. So we have four distinct concepts. Sheol, Hades, the common realm of the dead; Gehenna, the fiery garbage dump symbolizing utter destruction; and Tartarus, the abyssal prison for fallen angels. Our modern one size fits. All hell is a composite, a theological. But the core question remains: is the punishment physical fire, or something else entirely? This is where the debate truly ignites. The book of Revelation gives us the most terrifying image of all, the lake of fire. It is described as the second death, the final destination for the devil, his angels, and all those whose names are not found in the book of life. The imagery is absolute, but the very phrase second death suggests a finality. An end. Death is the cessation of life. Could the lake of fire be a metaphor for the ultimate and final eradication of evil? A place where all that is corrupt, all that is contrary to the nature of God, is utterly and completely unmade, consumed not for the purpose of eternal suffering, but for the purpose of purification of the cosmos itself. The pain isn't in the now. Contrast that with another image Jesus uses frequently, the outer darkness. He speaks of a wedding feast, a great banquet representing the kingdom of God, a place of light, joy, community, and celebration. And those who are unworthy, those who reject the invitation, are cast into the outer darkness, a place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Think about this imagery. The primary punishment here is being outside the gates, alone in the cold and the dark, able to hear the faint sounds of the party you were invited to but chose to forsake. The torment, the weeping and gnashing of teeth, doesn't necessarily come from a physical source. It is the sound of profound, unbearable regret. It is the psychological and spiritual agony of realizing the magnitude of what has been lost. It's the torment of a soul fully aware of we're peeling back layers of history and language to get to a core truth that has been obscured for centuries. If you are finding this journey into the heart of ancient mythology as fascinating as I am, do me a favor and hit that like button. It truly helps us bring more stories like this out of the shadows. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss where we're going next, because this is where the popular idea of hell truly begins to crumble. What if hell is not a place that God created to punish sinners? What if God didn't create hell at all? What if hell is the inevitable, natural consequence of a creature gifted with free will, choosing to utterly and finally reject its creator? Imagine God as the sun. The sun is the source of all light, all warmth, all energy, all life on our planet. The sun simply is. You can walk away, find the deepest, darkest cave you can, crawl inside and pull a heavy stone over the entrance. In that cave there is no light, there is no warmth, there is no life. It is cold, dark and dead. But did the sun phase you there? Did the sun build the cave as a punishment for you? Number the sun simply continued to be what it is, the source of light and life. You, through your own choice, created the condition of. In Christian theology, God is the source of all that is good. God face love, God face life, God face joy, peace, beauty, truth and meaning. He is the ultimate reality upon which all other realities depend. To be in communion with God is to be connected to the source of all these things, to choose definitively and eternally. To reject God is to choose separation from everything that flows from him. It is an existence defined only by what it is not, a hollow echo of a choice made for all eternity. It's not a medieval torture chamber built by a vengeful deity. It is the simple, horrifying, logical endpoint of a soul that has said, "I want nothing to do with you." God honors that choice. The gates of hell are locked from the inside. The fire of this hell, then, is not literal flame. It is the insatiable thirst for the living water that was forsaken. It is the agony of a being created for infinite joy, now existing in an infinite void of its own making. It is the eternal, conscious torment of regret, the gnashing of teeth at one's own folly. The soul designed to run on the fuel of divine love is now running on empty, consuming itself with bitterness, pride, and the pain is not inflicted from the outside, it blossoms from the inside out, an unending internal combustion of the self. This concept is perfectly encapsulated in the story of the greatest rebel of all, Lucifer. Think of the traditional story, especially as it was imagined by the poet John Milton in Fay Paradise Lost. Fay Lucifer, the light bearer, the most beautiful and powerful of all angels, was not better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, he famously declares. This single line reveals the true nature of his damnation. His hell is not a location, it is a condition of the mind. His punishment is not the fire around him, but the pride within him. He carries his hell with him wherever he goes because he cannot escape himself. Even if he were to be placed back in the center of heaven, he would still be in hell because his heart is defined by its opposite. His torment is the eternal memory of the celestial light he once knew, a light he can never return to because his own pride bars the way. He is the archetypal soul who has locked the door from the inside and thrown away the key. And what of the demons, his followers? Are they the gleeful, pitchfork-wielding torturers of our nightmares, or is that, too, a misunderstanding of their condition? Perhaps they are not wardens of hell. Their cruelty, their hatred of humanity, their relentless temptation. What if these are not signs of their power, but symptoms of their own unending agony? They are beings created for the light who now exist only in darkness. They see in humanity the image of the God they rejected, a reflection of the love they can no longer experience. Their malice is the furious, impotent rage of the eternally. They don't want to drag you down to hell to torture you. They want to drag you down to hell so they will not be alone in their misery. Their evil is a contagion born of their own suffering. Now, this reimagining of hell, from a physical place of fire to a spiritual state of separation, is not just a theological exercise. It is not an abstract thought experiment. It holds a profound, powerful, and because if hell is the state of separation from God, from love, from light, from connection, then we don't have to wait for the afterlife to experience it. We are perfectly capable of creating our own little hells on earth. The hell of addiction, where we are chained to a substance or a behavior that separates us from our true selves and those who love us. The hell of bitter unforgiveness, where we lock ourselves in a prison of resentment, unable. The hell of envy, of hatred, of despair. All of these are states of being. They are spiritual conditions where we are cut off from the source of life and love. We have all visited these places. We all know the particular code that resides there. But here is the crucial difference, and it is the most important part of this entire story. It is the guidance, the light in this exploration of darkness. The final eternal hell is defined by its permanence, the choice for connection, for forgiveness of ourselves and others, for vulnerability, for love, for light. That choice can be made in any given moment. The story of hell isn't meant to be a scare tactic to ensure good behavior through fear of a divine dictator with a torture chamber. It is a cosmic warning sign. It is a loving caution against the ultimate consequence of the path of selfishness and separation. The healthy fear, it should be the fear of choosing disconnection over connection so many times that you forget how to do anything else. It is the fear of becoming so lost in your own inner darkness that you forget the sun is even shining. So the true nature of hell reveals the true nature of heaven. If hell is the absence of God, then heaven is not just a place with golden streets, but the state of full, uninhibited, joyful communion with Him and with every act of kindness is a step towards heaven. Every choice for bitterness is a step towards hell. We are in every moment building the foundations of our own eternity. Perhaps the most terrifying question isn't whether hell is real, but how often we choose to visit it. Even for a moment in our own lives through our anger, our isolation, or our despair. And the most hopeful question is recognizing that, right now in this moment, we've journeyed from fiery pits to the darkness within the human heart. And I hope it has given you a new perspective on this ancient and powerful concept. If you liked this video, if it made you think, please subscribe and give it a like to support us. It lets us know that you want more explorations into the heart of these great myths and stories. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.